Hi, guys.
Hi,
Leonardo. Hi, Yuviri.
good morning. Hi, Leo.
Yeah, good afternoon from Finland.
Looks like Leo is muted. I don't know.
Yeah, we can't hear him.
How you doing?
I'm
Can you
fine.
see me well?
Yeah, I can see you clearly well. I can see your
Okay.
beautiful face.
Look at you. Is a screen share here the same like in Zoom?
Almost the same. Almost the same. Almost the same. So you can share your screen from the end. I'm going to stop sharing when it's time for you to share the screen.
Maybe you should
Okay.
just stop. Let me try to share while people are still joining because I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. So you can share now. Leonardo, can you hear
Hello.
me? Yeah, hello.
Yes. First of all, hello there.
Yeah, you're looking good.
Well,
how is
thank
how
you.
is UK?
Not as good as you both, but thank you. Thank
It's
you,
really
brother.
cold here.
I can just
Oh,
imagine.
Iviri, are you sharing?
Yeah, I'm trying to find
Okay, let me quickly introduce you guys to the audience as you are planning to share your screen. My name is Ahmed Lawal, and I'm a student of University of Turku in Finland. I came to Finland to study on scholarship, and I'm currently studying a double degree master's in educational sciences. um, when by April, I'll be in Germany to continue my studies in educational science, and it's a 2 year master's program. Here with me are two scholars, two notable scholars in the English language teaching profession, Iviri RASIFATU and Leonardo. They are both scholars, the Hornby scholars. Hornby scholar is a reputable scholarship in the UK, and these two scholars are here to share with us how to win the scholarship, how to apply the process, the tips, what they did to win the scholarship, because it's a very competitive scholarship, and for them to be here, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to you guys. So as we about to start this program, if you have any question, you can throw the question in the comments, and I would be displaying your question on the screen for the guests to attend to those questions. And then I have some questions for you guys as well. And I know that you guys you have lots of things in stock for the audience. Then recently I shared Japan scholarship for those who are interested in Japan scholarship as well. It's also meant for teachers. You can you can apply to the scholarship. I'm going to share the link in the comment as well. And there are other scholarships as well who which you can apply to as teachers. And we shouldn't see ourselves as people that can't achieve the best around the world. There are a lot of opportunities for teachers around the world. Then, as a disclaimer, this we are not OMBI scholarship board. How do they put it? Is it OMBI scholarship board? We are not member of the OMBI scholarship
it
board.
won't be trust.
Yeah, or yeah, OMBI scholarship trust. So we are not here to uh, assure you that you're going to win the scholarship. We're only here to give you guides on how to apply and how to win the scholarship. So let me give the mic to, they say ladies first. So let me give the mic to Yiviri. So Yiviri, you introduce yourself, followed by Leonardo.
Okay, thank you very much, Lawal.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Yiviri Rasifatu Tombir.
Mhm.
I am an English language teacher. from Cameroon, and I'm the Hornby scholar. So presently studying the for the masters in TESOL in the UK, research,
Mhm.
etc. And I just want to say that it's an exciting experience. It's a career changing program for every English language educator, and I believe that if educators are here on board, it means that they have understood the value of such programs. Um, those of us, of course, the target is for teachers from low income, middle income countries. So we generally do not have many of these opportunities. So, um, without going into too much details, we will come back to those. Just to say that it's a pleasure to be here and to share with you all, fellow educators. Thank you. Over to you, Ahmed.
All right. Thank you. So, Leonardo, you have the mic.
Oh, thank you. Wow, wow. Thank you, Iviri. It's an honor to be here and to share these things with you, dear fellow educators. And I'm honored, really, to share because, as Iviri said, this opportunity is really empowering, and not to a career only. It's more than that. We have that sense that we belong to something that's bigger than ourselves, and that's what education needs to potentialize to our people, to our countries,
Mhm.
to those who we teach. And I am from Brazil. Right now, Brazil is getting ready to Carnival,
Oh,
and
wow.
we are here in the UK having this cold weather. But it is a wonderful experience, guys. It's amazing to be here and to participate. And as Iviri said, Hornby. The Hornby Trust gives this wonderful opportunity. And it's a transforming opportunity,
Mm,
not only for us as individuals, as educators, but we can extend that to our context as well, and we can participate in so many ways for the improvement of education in our countries. So it is wonderful to be here and to speak to such a bright and brilliant audience. Thank you, Lawal.
Thank you so much. So we're going to move into the program, into everything. I don't want to ask any questions. I want you guys to drop whatever you have for the audience because the program is not for me. It's for those that are watching us right now who want to apply to for this scholarship. They are all teachers. The first question I have is maybe generally any one of you can attend to this question. Do OMBI scholarship has age limits or it's for everybody irrespective of the age? Even if I'm 40, 50, I can apply.
Look at me. Look at me. I'm not a boy anymore.
Neither am I a girl.
Okay.
No, no, and I think if you can back me up on this one, I think they even prefer more experienced teachers, really,
Oh,
for this context of the scholarship. I mean, we have a range like the oldest in our cohort. Who is it? If the youngest, the youngest is Sumaya, right? And Han, they are
The,
26, 27.
the Yeah, the youngest is Han, I think. Yeah,
Mm,
she's about 28.
yeah, and we
wow.
have us, and then here we are too.
Yeah.
So no age limit, really.
All right. Thank you. So, Yuviri, tell us about the program. Tell us how to apply. Tell us, okay, maybe I should give that to Leonardo. Then Yviri will tell us how to write the essays, the certificates, and everything. What you have done, you understand your own personal application. You share with us so that those of us that are applying would also attach because sometimes you would have some certifications, but you won't know if it is relevant for this program. So, what are those certifications that you've gathered together in applying for this scholarship? What are those CPDs, continuous professional development programs that you've, at least we have more time to do all these ahead of the application process? So, in summary, Hornby scholarship is a UK scholarship, right? And it's a 1 year master's program in at the University of Exeter. I have made a video on what this scholarship is all about, so I don't need to repeat all of this. You can just watch the video on what the scholarship is all about and how to apply. But what we are here for is to learn about the process and what are the things you've put together to win this scholarship. So let me give this to Leonardo, and you tell us your step by step process and everything you put together and why and how you won the scholarship, because it's not an easy task to win the scholarship. So I just wanted to share this secret with us.
Uh, Thank you, Lawal. I'm going to share about the university application and those details, and Ivi is going to talk about more about the scholarship itself.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can share because I have some thoughts here. I Let me see if I can do this.
And maybe maybe while Leo is trying to find his slides, just to say that the applicants should not neglect the university application, because it counts as much as the Hornby scholarship itself, because the scholars are evaluated by the two institutions. The University of Exeter, they do their own evaluation. The Hornby Trust do their own evaluation, and then they collate the two results to come up with the final thing. So even when you're applying for the University of Exeter, make sure that you put in your very best. Make sure that your personal statement is a compelling one, a powerful one that will give you, place you very high as far as the competition is concerned. Don't say, okay, you just want to apply and have a place at the university, and then you concentrate on the scholarship itself. No, all of them, they are very important. I just thought I should
Thank you
emphasize
so much.
that.
Thank you so much, Iviri. So over to you, Leonardo.
Yes. Can you all see my slides?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. That's good. So, uh, let me briefly talk to you all about not me, but about Exeter. Exeter is this beautiful city on the south of England, and it's a beautiful place. Uh, Although it is winter here, we don't feel as much as the rest of England and as the rest of the UK. The weather is milder than the other places here. So while other places in the UK are having the temperatures below zero, the temperature here is around 10 degrees right now. And and although
Mm.
that may be freezing to some of you, like me, who came from a tropical country, uh, it is it is pleasant. You learn how to live under this weather in a while. So, and the city has a lot of history. It's a wonderful place, and this is the home of the University of Exeter. The University of Exeter belongs to a prestigious group called the Russell Group, and it's a group of 25 UK universities that uh, that have met the highest criteria for research and teaching. So the university is prestigious. It is it is a really great place to study. So no doubt about that. It's wonderful, and uh, to be a student here, as Iviri said, the requirements are just as important as the scholarship due to the prestige the institution holds. So, and then for the application, I recommend everyone to take a look to the Med TESOL page. Uh, Take a look there at the requirements. I put here some of them. Uh, but what do you need to apply? Well, you need to access the system, and there on the page on the program page, you will find uh, a button you can see here on the far right side of my screen. You can see apply for September 2024 entry, and you'll be taken to a system. On that system, you'll be able to set up an account and to start your application. And it's really simple. It's a form, and when you finish a section, it progresses to into another section. So it's quite simple the way that the program is designed. So you don't have you to register to apply for this program. You do not need to any other system, just this one, just the universities, and nothing else. No other system of for your application is needed. So only this one, and this is a relief because sometimes the application process can be quite complicated. So, and this is not the case for this postgraduate study program we are taking here. So, what you need, what do you expect to see from this application? You need to submit all the information necessary documents, and it'll be required a national ID. Okay, you don't need to have a passport at first if you don't have one now. So don't worry. This is something that you can provide later. So you can start your application with your national ID. You need your transcripts from your past academic qualifications, a diploma from an undergraduate degree. Uh, since this one is important, so you can upload your CV, and it'll be required for you to upload your CV, especially because the scholarship also demands that. So, and relevant certificates. So, and the real relevant ones. So, for those who are TESOL practitioners, you know the value of being a CELTA, Delta, CERTESOL, DIPTESOL certificate, or any other TESOL certificate. If you are a holder of one of those, you can, of course, upload those to your application, and they are meaningful to the process. Okay. One thing is that the university has a requirement for the overall mark, the overall grade of your previous academic qualification. But don't worry about that. If you have, but if by chance your history has has a mark that you're not satisfied with that, and you think, oh, I have that mark that was not good, is that going to interfere with my application? Don't worry, apply either way. Uh, your personal statement can make a strong case to to help you reverse that situation. So don't worry. And this is something that's not coming from me. It comes from university admissions. So if you think that your past academic history may have a problem or something that that you're not satisfied with, don't worry. I encourage you to apply either way because your personal statement can make up for that. So do not worry. Apply anyway. You need English proficiency. We'll talk about that here. I mentioned IELTS uh, because Iviri and I we took IELTS, the IELTS exam prior to our experience. But there are other options, okay, and we'll talk about them in a minute. And one completed reference, okay. So these are the things that you will need to upload to your application, besides the information that you fill uh, there on this form. This is the form. As you can see, it's quite simple. A given name, family name, initials, street. It's quite simple the way it is laid out. And I said every section you go, it progresses. It's quite simple to use this system. And one thing. that will be needed, as I said, is the personal statement. That's a very important uh, thing because all these other details are very straightforward, are very objective, and the personal statement is more subjective. So uh, you need to upload that to your application, and this is very important to the university's selection criteria. So they will look to your personal statement, they will see some things there, and the admissions team, uh, they do follow certain requirements. We'll talk about them, uh, but yeah, this personal statement is really important. And talking about this personal statement, this is my advice: take your time, don't leave it. Don't leave it to the very last minute. Please, uh, really think about this thoroughly, right? And tailor it to the program, to the TESOL program. Okay, do not, for this specific uh, thing, do not rely on a chatbot or or anything, because this is the moment the university needs to know you. Okay, and this document is about you. Okay, if you will talk about the essay, and the essay is different, it's you and your context, but this is a lot about you. So talk about your past experiences, how they tie into the program, and how your future endeavors, what you plan to be, and you need to show that vision clearly on your statement. How do they tie to the program as well? So this is what you need to do. And my advice is to keep it simple. The university admissions team recommend 500 words average, 600 words maximum, okay, for the personal statement. So it's basically a two-page document, 1 to 2 pages. So it's not very long. Uh, you have, of course, to build a narrative. Your story should be there, okay? Uh, but again, in a sense, keep it simple, keep it short, okay? Use concise sentences. In the English language is very pragmatic in some ways, and especially the way they write. So different from my native language, Portuguese, we love long sentences. So, but here they prefer to keep them short. So and show enthusiasm. Show that this opportunity is going to be great for you, for your career, and how excited you are to come to the UK, to come to Exeter. Okay, and of course, organize the structure. Okay? Introduction, body, conclusion. You can even use some subheadings. Okay, do not use many, but it's okay to use 3 or 4 subheadings to your personal statement. Right? And this is from the university guide to writing a personal statement. And and typically, right, when we highlight some things because it's important, right? But in this case, it's quite the opposite. I highlighted what's not important because everything else is important there. Everything else is important. So your personal statement must be free of grammar and spelling mistakes. Obviously, be focused, show motivation. We've spoken about it. 3 quarters directly relevant to the choice of course. So most of it is to justify your course, and you use your past and what you envision for your future. You tie into that perspective for the choice of course. Uh, Original work. So no copy and paste, guys. Okay, so because the application systems here, everything we do for the university is submitted to similarity detection tests. In the case of our assignments, it's 2018, but for the personal statements, they use different systems, different programs, different software to identify copied uh, material. So original work, okay, is a must. And there is some suggestions for do's and don'ts here. For the personal statement created, some of the suggestions are to create a list of ideas, drafting before doing the real thing. Uh, Draft as much as possible, so you can ask someone, can be a friend, someone, a colleague, uh, a boss, or a professor you have to give feedback for your work. I think this is helpful. Uh, Check the university and the course prospectus. It's there. So make sure you check. You can even uh, mention some of its components. Uh, and add it to your personal statement, to your objectives, your goals. As a future uh, student of the university, be enthusiastic for sure. And the don'ts here are very accurate as well. Uh, Mentions again about the spelling and grammar. You know, Feel the need to use elaborate language. Elaborate language doesn't necessarily mean long sentences and complex ones. You need to be concise, but still you need uh, to submit something that has quality writing. So just more to that sense. Do not lie, okay? Do not try to be a fisherman or or a fisherwoman in your personal statement, because the university oftentimes they have this procedure of uh, calling a few applicants to interviews in the process. I didn't have one. Iviri, did you have one interview? I just had the Hornby one. Did you have one by the university? No, right?
No.
Yeah, yeah. And it happens sometimes. They may call you. They may call you for an additional interview. So exactly to have you elaborate more about details of your application and your personal statement. So do not, just do your thing. It'll be okay. And uh, rely on a spell checker, as it will not pick up everything. So proofread as many times as possible. Proofread your work. Take a look. You can ask someone to do that as well. It's always good to have another set of eyes uh, watching over your work. It's always good. That's what feedback is about. And uh, if you leave it to the last minute, as as we said before, the statement will seem rushed, and probably some information will be missed. So just be careful with that, right? Uh, and my final tips for the application, people, are the proficiency exam. This is an important part, but do not feel like you have to submit uh, a proficiency exam certificate right at the beginning, because these tests are costly. They cost money to our pockets. So spare your money at the beginning of your application. You can do that. I did. Iviri did. The other members of our cohort did. We all took the Ielts test after we received the scholarship offer. So you can wait. But as soon as you have the scholarship offer, the day you get the scholarship offer, then you can schedule a proficiency test, and just IELTS is probably the most common one for the UK. But as you know, that time of the year, between May and October, the IELTS test is the demand is just so high, because people are preparing to come to the UK to study. So as soon as you have the scholarship offer, schedule, book your test, you know. And the IELTS, I think it's the one that I suggest because the Hornby Trust offers preparation to the IELTS test. So if you get a scholarship offer, Hornby will provide some preparation. It's not a whole lot, but they provide some workshops to prepare you for the test. So, and that's why I think the IELTS is the most recommendable one. It's the one that I recommend you to take. Okay, the CV, the same principles that apply to the personal statement apply to your CV. So just you don't have really to uh, to try to stretch the things you've done. No, no. This part of the application, and Daniel is a person that I know from the application team here. I spoke to him a lot when I was applying, and and he was the one who told me this process of uh, analyzing CVs is very pragmatic. They take a quick look just to see if you fulfill the requirements. So you don't have to tell a whole long narrative and story there. So you just have to be precise, accurate, concise, you know, mention, of course, your role, the time you worked there, how long you worked at that position, and your role in a summarized way. That's it. You don't have to do a whole more than that. Your educational background, just to, just a little bit, too, because you will submit the transcripts and the diploma to the university. So, uh, but still, it needs to be mentioned there. Uh, the university requires one reference letter, okay? One reference, and these reference, if you read the application guidelines, the priority, the number one option is that this reference needs to be an academic one. So try to find someone who knows your academic abilities, a former professor, I don't know, so someone who knows of your academic uh, qualifications and capabilities, and who can vouch for that uh, in a letter or in a document. Okay, so if you do not have this person, oh, I do not have contact. I'm not in touch with my former professor. Okay, in this case, you can provide a letter of a professional reference. So, but first, for the university, the priority is to be an academic one. Okay? And if not, a professional one works. Okay? And after all that, uh, you will receive an offer. If if you don't submit the proficiency test, you know, if you and if you don't have one right now, if you don't have a valid certificate, can be IELTS, TOEFL, or any other. You see on the university website the ones that are accepted for our program. If you don't have now, just don't worry, as I said. But if you do, submit, upload it to your application. And when you receive an offer, and if the offer comes positive, and hopefully it will, they will say, okay, you have a conditional offer because you need to meet certain conditions. And in this case, the condition will be the proficiency test. Okay, so you will need to provide that later. So in there will be time for that. Okay, and once you take the test, let's say you take the IELTS test, and a month later you send that back to the university, then they will revert that into an unconditional offer. Okay, and then uh, it's basically you've been accepted, fully accepted as an university student, as a university student, and they will send you the task, this letter, the confirmation of acceptance of studies. They will send you that letter, and with that letter, with all the information, then you can apply for a visa. for a UK visa. So basically, that's the in a nutshell, that's the application process for our program. And uh, as I said, the most important element here, the most important elements are the personal statement and I'd say that the documents, of course, you need those documents, okay? But the personal statement you can justify, uh, you can use to justify for any other things that you would need to, like for example, uh, a bad grade in your academic history. You can use that to, as an amendment for those. Okay? And these are the dates for the process, the application process, But this is the closing date not to apply for the university. Okay, this is the closing date for Hornby, the Hornby scholarship. Okay? The university application goes up to early September, so and there is still time. But for the scholarship, of course, you need to apply before March, the 1st of March. So and then the shortlisted notification. This is for the scholarship as well. The interview for the scholarship between April 29th, May 6th, and the final outcome uh, towards the end of May. So, yeah. But if we will talk more about the Hornby scholarship and the opportunities it provides. Let me just finish here.
Okay. Oh, are you done?
I am Lawal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the informative discussions, sharing of the screen, making it so simple, and giving us everything we need to know about this scholarship. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Before we move on to questions and everything,
Oh, if you
I
is
don't
gonna
want
is gonna if you is gonna talk Lawal about the scholarship, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we want to know more about the benefit of the scholarship, the essays, and everything. And Yuviri is going to handle that with us. Then after that, we're going to have a question and answer because we don't have much time right now. Then if you have any question, please drop it in the comments. I'm going to share the screen some minutes before we end this um, discussion, and then we're going to answer your questions. And then, so let me give the mic to Yuviri. Yuviri,
Thank you again,
yeah,
Nawal.
yeah.
Um, Let me share my screen.
Okay. Yeah, you can. Do you see the present button?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So you can click on present, then you share.
Yeah. Um, why can't I see?
Oh, you see? Do you see something like slides, camera, video, and all? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think. Okay. So we're back. Okay. So we can see your screen now.
Yeah, but I'll need to minimize because it's taking all the full screen.
Okay. You've closed it.
Yeah.
Audience, you can drop your questions. Drop your questions. Start dropping your questions. We're going to attend to those questions after Yviri's presentation.
Okay. Let me.
Okay. Or can you send your slides to me so I display for you?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. That's the thing.
Can we see them now?
No.
Oh,
Oh.
You go to uh,
Let me stop sharing.
do you see present?
Yeah.
So are you, since you're using a slide, then you click on slides,
Mm-hmm.
then you go to, did you download the document on your system?
Yeah, yeah. It's right there on my.
Download, right?
Yeah.
Is it download? So you click your computer, you click that option, your computer, then it takes you to where the documents should be on your computer.
Yeah, yeah. That's where I was before. What the heck?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Right. Okay. Sorry for that technology.
Yeah. It's thank you so much. It's
It always
understandable.
happens.
It's
Yeah.
understandable. So thank you guys for your patience and let's get it started. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Leo, for that very detailed presentation about university application.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to focus on the Hornby scholarship application itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I said earlier, my name is Yuviri and I'm an English language teacher from Cameroon and Hornby scholar, just like Leo. Um, it's really an honor to be here to share these scholarship tips with you all. We're not here to give you answers for your aces because we all have our different stories. We are all unique in our own ways, and
Mm-hmm.
it is our uniqueness that makes us stand out. So no one can give you a scholarship essay format to go and write and submit in order to win a scholarship. No, but we're just here to give you some tips, some of those little things that you may want to consider when you are submitting your application. Um, so for this session, it's going to be very simple. It's just about the Hornby Scholarship. So we'll look at the some of those key things that I feel are very important for everyone applying. So we have understanding the objective of the Hornby Trust, writing a compelling cover letter, structuring your curriculum vitae, and then we have a Q&A session. Now, the first thing I would love to talk about is the objectives. Um, you know, many people. apply for scholarships several times and they never get to win. Not because they don't have what it takes, but because they ignore very little but key things to winning applications. And one of those things is understanding the goals and objectives of each scholarship you're applying for. No two scholarships are the same. No two scholarships are the same. We have like application to the University of Exeter, and now we're talking about applying for the Hornby scholarship. These are two institutions that have partnered towards one goal, but they two have different objectives. And if you do not understand what the goals of the sponsor are, you are likely not going to obtain that scholarship, no matter the certificates that you have, no matter the experience that you have, no matter every other thing that you've got that can put you, ahead of every other person. If you do not understand this before you even begin your application, you're already 99% off the track. So it is very important. And so you see people, they just pick up an application and then they go straight to the application form and they start completing the application form
Hmm.
without reading, without doing some research around the sponsors, what they are interested in, what are the kind of people they are looking for. Those are the things that you need to know. And I just copied the objectives of the Hornby, and I highlighted the very important part of it so that we look at them together. And it says the Hornby Education Trust, I'm just going to read the way it is. The Hornby Education Trust prioritizes capacity building. That's a very important word. It prioritizes capacity building for English language teaching in low and middle income countries. It awards master's degree scholarships to teachers and related professionals with relevant experience. Very important word. Relevant experience and evidenced potential. Evident potential to impact and enhance the field of English language teaching and learning in their home country, not in the UK. Very important. Do not say when you finish your program, you're going to do this in the UK, you're going to do that in the UK. No.
Hmm.
The aim of the Hornby Trust is to empower teachers from low and middle income countries with skills so they can go back to their communities, to their countries, and then in turn empower their communities, their countries. Very important. When you have understood that, as you write your cover letter, make sure that every paragraph of it refers back to this objective. Very important. If you go away from it, you will not be meeting the objectives of the sponsor, which is Hornby. They go ahead to say the scholarship will be awarded to academically talented and experienced. Experience comes again. Leonardo talked about experience. Lawal asked a question about age limit, and he explained that the Hornby prefers people who have experience in the teaching field. But we are not saying that if you are not very much experienced, you cannot after they talk about 3 years, 3 years minimum experience as a teacher. Okay. Other people will have 10, 20, 30, 40. All those, everyone is welcome. There is no age limit, there is no experience limit for the scholarship. So please, as you embark on your scholarship application, have these goals at the back of your mind. Always ask yourself, whatever I'm writing, is it Does it align with the objectives of the Hornby Trust? If it is a yes, then you go ahead. But if it doesn't, please keep that point aside and talk about something else. Good. And then number two, we're going straight to writing a cover letter. The scholarship application has actually been simplified this year. Um, Last year there were many questions, and you had to answer each question and upload as a file. I think 500 words, 4 to 5 questions, 5 questions, I think. So you had to write these five questions of 500 words each and upload as a file. But things have changed this year. This year, you just expected to write one cover letter of 800 words maximum. Wow. But also, the more you are limited, the more difficult it is, because it is in that cover letter that you tell your story. I always talk about personal statements or cover letters as an avenue for you to tell your story. Your story. Please do not get somebody's story and try to fit in your own story. You will go out of target. Please. Leo talked about copy and paste. Copy and paste is not just from the word or from AI. It is also trying to get people's experiences and trying to fit into your own experiences. It's going to distort the logical flow of your story when you tell that story. Do not bother if there is someone around you who have won so many other scholarships, who have undertaken so many continuing professional development programs, who have, don't bother. You have your own uniqueness. Your own story may not be so but you may have something about it that someone may just be interested in and want to give you the chance so that you prove what you can do. And many people have been stuck with this application because of the cover letter. There are so many people who have been asking me day in, day out, how do I go about writing the cover letter? And sometimes it is because people do not even understand what the cover letter is. What is the purpose of the cover letter? So to me, it is the document that it's not just for scholarships but also for employment when people are looking for jobs, that you hand into your sponsor or your potential sponsor, to tell them that, see, I am that candidate you're looking for. Don't go looking elsewhere. This is me. I am the one. I deserve, I am that potential fit you're looking for. That is a cover letter. And of course, there is a way of doing that. So, to me, the purpose of the cover letter is for you to tell your story. I keep talking about telling a story. It is for you to tell your story and justify why you are the best fit for the opportunity. And this is how I look at your story. The story is just like your life. Your life, you have your past, you have your present, and you have your future. Now, how does your past relate to your present? How has your past shaped you into who you are now? Now, who you are now, what do you want to become tomorrow? That is the mindset you should have when you're writing your personal statement. I was somewhere, it took me somewhere, and now I'm going somewhere. If you follow this pattern, I bet you're going to have a winning cover letter. I'm taking the questions exactly the way they are from the Hornby Scholarship. And question 1 says, in your context, what are the key challenges that you and other teachers of English typically face on a daily basis? In your context, it is very important. That is a key word. In your context, not in another person's context. Be careful. I talked about trying to fit in other people's experiences in your stories. It will backfire, like we say in our Cameroon and Nigerian
Yeah, it will
jargon.
backfire.
Now it will backfire. Please be authentic, be real.
Be
So
truthful.
be truthful. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Um. Now we are in the context of low and middle income countries. Of course, we can have some general features, general characteristics that these countries share in common. I believe that the difficulties I face as an English language teacher in Cameroon are the same difficulties that my fellow educator from Nigeria is facing in Gabon, in Chad, in Rwanda, and in most of those African countries. I'm just taking an example of the African continent, and likewise other countries too. It may not be exactly the same, but these issues are almost the same. Like Leo is from Brazil; he's not from Africa. That's another continent. There are people from Asia, from some odd Asian countries. They have their own characteristics too. They may not be exactly the same like ours, but they are very similar. So, to tackle this question in your context, what are the key challenges that you and other teachers of English typically face? Now, this is where that experience comes in. Remember, they talked about experienced teachers. Of course, if you have been teaching for 3 years, 4, 5 years, 20 years, saying the things that you face, the challenges that you face, the difficulties that you encounter in your daily teaching is not something that you go looking for on the internet. You just say them naturally. And I just highlighted a few of them, which are very common and that we know. We have issues of large classes. And remember that large classes is relative. It depends on where you are. In the UK, someone with 30 students, you've killed them, they will say the class is large. In the US, for example, 20 students, 25 students, that's already a large class. But in Cameroon, when I'm given a class of 60 students, I am the happiest teacher because that's a very small class.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so the context matters, very important. And then, apart from large classes, we're talking about mixed ability learners. In some developed countries, of course, students usually take their placement tests. They need to evaluate a student to know their level, to know exactly which class they are going to. But that doesn't happen in my country. I am very sure it doesn't happen in Nigeria, except Lawa proves me wrong. So we end up having students different, maybe proficiency levels in the same class. How do you handle them? It is difficult to teach them the same way because their levels of understanding will not be the same. So these are some of the issues that we face: mixed ability learners, lack of resources. We do not have lots of them. Sometimes you have a class of 100 students and there are just maybe about 10 of them with textbooks. That's a serious handicap for a teacher because when students do not have those resources, it really makes teaching a very difficult task. um, we have insufficient CPD, continuing professional development opportunities. There are not many of them, but of course, with social media, we exposed to some of them, but then they are never enough. Like the one like this one we have now, the Hornby scholarship. Hornby scholarship is not just an opportunity to have a master's. It is actually a continuing professional development program that every teacher should normally have because it equips you to become a better teacher. In fact, I know that before I leave here, I'm going to be a born again teacher. I'm no longer the teacher I was before I came here because we have to do courses. I mean, it's like you've gone back to your teacher training school, and you're even having more than what you might have had during your training program. So people generally lack this continuing professional development opportunities because of finances, because of, So these are just some ideas that we could think about. There are so many others. We can never exhaust the list. But these are just some ideas that I thought we could share. And then you begin to think how you can rightly put them in your application, in your cover letter. That is if they apply in your context. Very important. And then we have question 2. How would studying the MED TESOL in the University of Exeter help you to respond to these challenges? Good question. Now, you need to go back to the objectives of the Hornby Scholarship to be able to answer this question correctly. And what was that objective? The objective was that they want to empower educators, English language teachers from low and middle income countries, empower them with skills so they can go back to their countries and improve the teaching situation, and also impact their colleagues and have an impact on their learners. That is the goal of Hornby. And so this question is asking us, how would studying the MED TESOL at the University of Exeter help to respond to these challenges that we've just talked about? We've talked about large classes, we've talked about mixed ability learners, we've talked about lack of CPD opportunities, lack of resources. And then the first thing I would mention here is that with a question like this one, you may want to go back to your University of Exeter application. Remember, I said the two are linked. They are two different institutions, but they are linked. You are going to be studying at the University of Exeter, and they are the ones to give you the content. Hornby is going to provide the finances for you. The University of Exeter is going to give you the knowledge, the skills that you need. Now, how do you know what impact you will have if you do not even know what you will learn at the University of Exeter? So, in order to adequately tackle this question, I would advise the applicants to go and have a look at the courses that the University of Exeter offers as far as obtaining a Master of Education in TESOL is concerned. That is how you will be able to tailor a response to this question. During your stay in Exeter, you may be lucky to have courses like maybe material development. For example, if you are if you are taught that course, it means that at the end of it, you must have acquired skills on how to create material, teaching materials. And you already identify that in your context, you have problems with teaching material. It therefore means that when you come back with these skills, you now know what it takes, to create material, teaching materials, learning materials for your students and for your colleagues. You also empower your colleagues with these skills. And then you solve the problems yourselves. You don't wait for anybody to come and solve the problem. I hope we're following up how the two are linked. Very important. Now, the program itself, like I said, is a continuing professional development program. You're taking courses in teaching methodology, you're learning how to teach writing, the different ways of teaching writing, how to teach speaking, how to teach listening. You're learning how to teach English as a subject. Maybe you didn't have the opportunity to study such in during your teacher training program back in your country, but here you have the chance to study all of these. Now, how does it help you? Continuing professional development means you keep on acquiring new skills, you become a better teacher than what you were the previous day. Now, when you get these skills, when you go back to your country, what do? Of course, cascading. You share with your colleagues. You organize webinars, organize seminars, do presentations in conferences, share the knowledge. As you share with, I mean, the cascading it's a process. As I cascade, for example, with teachers in my department, if they are also enthusiastic, they can also cascade with other people, and before you know it, a great number of teachers in the country must have benefited from you alone as a single Hornby scholar. So you see how they are related. You cannot talk about one without talking about the other one. Now, you may have a course like educational technologies, instructional technology, which most countries now are talking about digitalization of education. We are in a digital era, and there is no way we can run away from it. Even though we keep complaining that we don't have the resources, but we need to make do with the little that we have, and we need that knowledge. When you if you take a course like educational technologies, you will be exposed to different technologies that you can use or that you can adapt in your context, because technology is not always digital like we think. It is not always digital. There are some of those technologies that we can use, and studying here will actually give you the opportunity to learn some of these technologies that are not digital, but that can help you to develop these critical thinking, these 21st century skills that our learners badly need in order to fit in tomorrow's job market. You see, so this is how you tailor your cover letter. I'm still giving these ideas in a general manner, but at the end of it all, I will just give a summary and then give you a focus on how you can organize them so that they are logically presented for the reviewer to actually understand you as a person, what you did in the past, what you're doing now, and what you intend to do. Then question 3 says, how do your skills and expertise make you a suitable candidate for the Hornby Scholarship? This is an excellent question. Now, this question is talking about the present, you now. We talked about your context, the issues that you have in your context. We've discussed them. Now, we went to the future. How will studying in Exeter? So we left from our context, we went to the future, we went to Exeter, and linking Exeter back to your country. And now we are in the present. You, who are you right now? What kind of teacher are you? What are the skills that you have that can distinguish you from any other educator? What is that thing that you have? What are those skills that make you the perfect fit for the Hornby Scholarship? And Hornby is very specific. They have given you guidelines on the kind of things that you may want to talk about when answering this question. When you want to say that, yes, I am that candidate you are looking for, they have specified what you should talk about. And they say your focus should not be on how you have been effective as an English language teacher. Very important. Your focus should not be on how you have been effective as an English language teacher. We are more interested in hearing about how you plan to use your learning and experiences on the MED TESOL course to help teachers to respond to the challenges identified above. Now, this section of it, you understand that we have already answered it from the previous question. So you see, And this is the thing with writing personal statements and cover letters. Those Some of those ideas, they go and they come. The same things. Sometimes you have to say the same things, maybe in different ways. So they are interested in hearing about how you plan to use your learning and experiences on the MED course to help teachers to respond to the challenges identified above. I already mentioned many of them. Please make it very clear what your role would be in tackling the challenges you have identified. Be very clear. What role will you play? And how are you going to do that? And then it continues. You might also want to describe particularly outstanding personal and or professional characteristics, achievements, or experiences that have helped you to develop new skills and understandings. We would be particularly interested in hearing about any language teacher development activities that you have delivered or helped deliver. For example, teacher training, professional development, material development, or leading a teachers association or professional activity group. Your focus should be less on how you have been effective as an English language teacher. Emphasis on this. They are insisting because this is what people do. People are just most of the time interested in saying how they have been effective as English language teachers. Every time I teach at the end of the year, we score 100% in the summative exams. My students have we score 100%. No, they are not interested in how effective you've been in your classes, whether your students score 100%. That is not what they want to know. They want to know the impact that you have created in the lives of your fellow educators. They want to know the activities that you have undertaken as a person to build yourself, to develop yourself as a better person and as a better educator. Are you the kind of teacher who just goes to class, teaches, preaches the gospel, comes back and sleeps? You don't want to become better. There is a saying that if you don't want to continue learning, then you should stop teaching. Because as a teacher, you must always learn. Teachers are lifelong learners. So they want you to demonstrate that you are a lifelong learner and that you don't just learn and you keep it in your pocket, but you learn and you share, you cascade for other teachers to be better, just like you. So you taking the other teachers along with you. These are the kind of stories that the Hornby Trust want to hear. And like I said, your own story is unique. People get involved in their learning in different ways from different platforms. We're going to look at some of them. Now, the first aspect that they mentioned was what role? What role are you going to take to be able to create this impact in your community after you complete your program? And I talk about being a teacher leader. Teachers are leaders. Unfortunately, teachers do not always look at themselves as leaders. But teachers are leaders. To be able to manage the classes that we do, you need to have leadership skills to be able to manage your class, to be able to manage your students. You need leadership skills. And then as a person, because they also want to see your personal characteristics that make you as a good leader. What are those characteristics that you have? Maybe you have good communication skills. You've got some leadership skills. And you don't just say you have leadership skills. You need to prove. You have been a leader in your teacher association. maybe like Camelta, where I come from, that's Cameroon English and Literature Teachers Association. Maybe you hold a position there, you're the secretary, you're the president, you're the, I don't know what position you hold. That those are leadership positions. And in that capacity, when you come back, you will be able to reach out to English language educators in your country. You may be the head of department in your school. You're leading people. Those are leadership roles we're talking about. You don't need to be the president of Nigeria to create an impact in your community. No. You don't need to occupy a very big position for people to feel the impact of your leadership. No. You may be I mean you want to demonstrate maybe your collaborative skills. How do you work with your colleagues as the head of department? How do you work? How do you collaborate? How do you cooperate with your colleagues? Because there are people who do not know how to manage these things. You get them, they're appointed as head of department or whatever post. It doesn't work because they don't know how to relate. They don't know how to relate with other people. So you need to prove that you have these leadership skills. It could even be in your ex-student association, where you've been entrusted a leadership role and you've been handling it well. Talk about it. Please do not minimize your experience. Do not say, this thing is it's insignificant. Nobody will want to listen to it. Oh my, it may be that very insignificant thing that will make the difference in your own story. Be real, be authentic, be truthful. And then they are interested in finding out the professional development activities you have engaged in that have permitted you to gain certain skills and understandings. What have you been doing? Have you just been a classroom teacher that I described, who is just contented with going to class, preaching the gospel truth to the students, coming back? Or you the kind of teacher who is constantly running after knowledge? And there are so many avenues for us to do that. You may attend webinars, you present in webinars. Thank God technology has made things easy for us now. You may just moderate a webinar. You're also doing something great, because without a moderator, there is no webinar. You may attend conferences, you may present in conferences. Remember that when you are presenting in a conference or in a webinar, you are sharing your experiences, you are sharing your knowledge with other colleagues, and they are learning from the tips or whatever knowledge that you have gained that is equally going to be of use in their own classes, in the lives of their students and their colleagues. Maybe you might have been involved in some training. There are some people who are blessed with digital skills. There are other people too who are very reticent when it comes to technology. Maybe you've taken it upon yourself as a responsibility to teach your colleagues in the department how to prepare PowerPoint presentation, how to use Canva, how to use poster maker flyer to prepare vocabulary to teach your students. Maybe you've done this in your teacher association. Maybe you have your communities of practice, your WhatsApp groups, your Telegram groups, where you do presentations weekly, monthly, and you share ideas with your colleagues. These are some of the things that you do for your professional development. Maybe you're actually involved in material development. For example, like in Africa ELTA, we have the Africa ELTA Open Educational Resources Project, where teachers are involved in material development. Maybe you are a part of such a project. Or maybe you're doing your own in your own little way. Say it and be very clear about it. And then you also need to talk about your professional achievements. I use the word outstanding there, but it must outstanding is relative. So what I may consider as outstanding professional achievements may not be the same for B or C. We have different achievements in our own different areas. Maybe you have had scholarships before, maybe like popular scholarships in the teaching field, like the Fulbright T program. You might have won that scholarship. What did you learn? Because it is not just about having had that scholarship that matters. No, you had that opportunity. What did you do with it? How did it impact your community? That is what they are looking for. If you have had 50 scholarships and nobody in your community has benefited from it, then you are as good. You would rather not have had those scholarships because they are of no use to anybody. But you may have someone who has had only a single scholarship, but through that scholarship, they have created an enormous impact in their community. Who do you think they will consider? Of course, the person with the single scholarship opportunity or the award. So it is not just about naming the awards that you have earned, the scholarships that you've had before, but about demonstrating, showing how you use them to empower your colleagues, to empower your learners, to create that change in your community. Because they talked about evidenced potential. If you can remember, when Hornby, they were giving the objectives of who they are looking for, evidence. So you must have proven that when you come back, you will be able to impact your community. If you have never done it before, how are we sure that when you come back with this one, you will do it? If you've been having opportunities and keeping them for yourself, it may just be the same for this one. So there is no need giving it to you. Let us even give it to someone who has not had even one opportunity. Maybe they have the potential to create that impact instead of someone who has had 10 opportunities and they have never done anything to empower, to change the lives of their colleagues. Very important. So I just highlighted some of those uh, professional achievements. Like maybe you were voted as the teacher of the year in your country, or in your school, or in your department. Those are achievements. They are not given to anybody. Do not minimize them. There are others like lesson plan winners. It could be in your country, in Africa, in the world at large. We have so many of those competitions that teachers go for. And if you've had them, please talk about them and say how they have helped you to develop new skills. And not just developing new skills and understandings, but how you have also cascaded them and impacted your colleagues and your community. Then, of course, they also talked about having outstanding people with outstanding academic background. Um, Maybe you might have had your BA, your bachelor degree with honors, I don't know. You might have taken an academic course where you performed well. There are lots of things that people do academically that I cannot mention. If you have done any of such, please talk about them and say how they have helped in building you into the person that you are now, to be that perfect fit for this scholarship opportunity. Say that, and very clearly. Please do not be verbose. Say just the things that you need to say, because you don't even have the space. Remember, you're writing all of this in just 800 words. And my advice would be that, I may forget at the end of it, that do not try to go above the word limit. They may not be tolerant. It is better to stay within the word limit. It is also a skill. So don't give a negative impression by writing 1,000 words. You may very important part of your essay may not be read because you exceeded the word limit. And then you need to clearly explain how all these aspects that we have talked about relate to the Hornby Scholarship goals. I know that throughout my discussion, I've been trying to link them to the goals of the scholarship. You need to clearly say how all these things you've done, how they align with the Hornby objectives. The webinars that you've taken, the online courses that you have taken, the teacher development course that you took. How did it help you? How did it help the others? You need to link all of that to the objectives of the program. Very important. Okay, and then before I quickly talk about the CV, I would just want to give this general, say this on a general note that just like Leonardo was saying, for the personal statement when you're applying to university, do not keep your cover letter the last minute. Do not rush over it. The word limit is, first of all, so restricted, it's so limiting that you really need to have good skills to be able to tell your beautiful story in a nice way in those very limited words. So you need to write and edit every now and then. I always say that applying for scholarship is a full-time job. Some people think that they can just wake up one morning, one Saturday morning, and they pick the Hornby scholarship, they apply at the University of Exeter, and they submit and they win. No. You need to devote time. You need to be cooking and thinking about how to go and rephrase one or two sentences in that cover letter that you wrote. You need to be teaching in class and thinking about other ideas that you need to include in your cover letter to refine it to meet the goals of the Hornby. And if you're writing it on the last day, you will not have the opportunity to do this kind of reflection. You will not have time. So give it time. If you've not started before now, you still have a month to go. Start working today. But I also understand procrastination. Today is just the 3rd of February. I have till March. I will work on it. I will work on it tomorrow. I will actually start tomorrow. And then when tomorrow comes, you're like, but I still have time. It's okay. I will work. And before you know it, it is already the 25th of February. You've not written anything. Sometimes you even take part in some programs and you forget to jot them. Like, you need to take time and think to be able to remember the programs, the webinars that you might have facilitated or presented. Or you need time you need enough time to be able to put all of this together. It may look very simple, but it's a lot of work. Applying for scholarships is a full-time job. I always say that. If you cannot take that job, then forget about winning scholarships. You don't just apply in a day and you win. No. Anyway, that's my experience. Okay. So, about the CV, Leo already talked about the CV, but I just want to give some highlights, just to say that your CV is still going to be a reflection of your cover letter. Sometimes the review committee have a way to track people who lie. You may lie in your cover letter and then you forget to transfer that lie in your CV. And if something is so outstanding, an achievement is so outstanding that you include it in your cover letter and you don't include in your CV, there may be question marks. Remember that it is a CV and not a resume. It is a CV. It means that it gives you room to include the very important information. A CV is allowed. It can be long. It can be longer. But when it is a resume, you really need to have it very short. But a CV gives you room to give the issues, achievements that you feel are very important, especially that you might have mentioned in your cover letter. So please do not give the benefit of doubt to the review committee to start asking questions. But she did this very important program. We saw it, the cover letter. How come she does not have it, the CV? Question mark. And then they see one or two and they're like, maybe she only heard about a colleague who did that. She quickly fitted that in the cover letter and then she forgot to include that in the CV. You know, you're already reducing your chances. Try as much as possible to be consistent throughout in your story. It should be logical, it should flow from your CV to your from your cover letter to your CV. And when you write your CV, I always advise that you should have a CV profile. What I call a CV profile is that sentence or those sentences that give a synopsis of who you are. Those first lines that when an employer or a sponsor, when they pick your CV, they see a summary of who you are in just some few lines. Okay, so it's very important. I just give an example here. Like you may say, you're a dedicated and passionate educator, a multi award winner, mentor, and an instructional technology enthusiast with proven track record of empowering learners and colleagues. Now, remember that a CV is not static. Okay, you tailor your CV according to your program. So do not say, okay, I have this CV that I used to apply for so and so scholarship or thing. I'm just going to transfer it. No, you need to tailor your CV to meet the needs of the program. And here, we already know the goals of Hornby. So your CV, especially that CV profile that you want to write, make sure that it reflects or aligns with the Hornby scholarship goals. I'm not saying that you should lie, say things that will match. No. But of course, if you're applying for this scholarship, it means that you know that you've got what it takes to apply for it. So make sure you highlight those areas. And then as far as the body of your CV is concerned, I usually just put them, have subtitles. Just like Leo talked about having your CV so that when someone your education and your certificate, you give that subtitle and then you just indicate briefly, please, no details, no long sentences. You just give maybe the program, the educational program that you took, and maybe the certificate that you obtained. And then your professional experience. Maybe you've done this work, you were an engineer before, and then you realize that you had passion for teaching. Some of those very interesting stories that people like to listen to, say them, put them clearly in your CV. Your personal and professional development trainings. Okay, you did this training with the British Council, you did that one with American Embassy, you did this one with Hornby, you did this one. Mention them under those subtopics. Awards and scholarships that you've won before, you also uh, give the subtitle. Volunteering positions, very important. Volunteering is actually a key area in scholarship applications that many people neglect. When you train your colleagues, that's volunteering. And there are so many other ways that we volunteer. And if you've done such things, please indicate them. And then you may want to talk about your professional association membership. Oh, there was some distortion of this slide. You may want to talk about your professional association membership. Are you a member of your the teacher association in your country? Are you a member of international teacher associations like IOTFL, like TESOL, Africa ELTA, Brazil? I don't know. Are you a member of teacher associations in your country and out of your country? Mention them. And you may also want to talk about your publications. Remember, they said they're looking for very brilliant teachers, not only professionally, but also academically. So it is also very important that if you've had some publications, you mention them in your CV. And I will end on this note by saying, believe you can, and you're halfway there. Some people just believe that they cannot. I cannot. That scholarship is not for me. I don't have what it takes to win a scholarship. You've already blocked your mind. That blockage there, whatever potential you have, you will not be able to have it manifest. But the moment you believe that you can do it, you're gonna do it. It's already 50% into the thing. And by the time you put in the energy, the time to do it, you will succeed. Um, I don't know what happened, but well, I was that was already at the end of my presentation. Um, okay, thank you. So yeah, so thank you very much for listening. I hope that you were able to get one or two things that will help you in your application process. And if you have any questions, we will be very happy to answer them. Thank you very much, Lawal. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Scholar Yuviri. That was a wonderful presentation, fully, I wanted to say fully funded, Fu- fully loaded. The presentation was fully loaded. In fact, you've answered almost all the questions I have in mind. But because of time, let me just quickly ask you that the benefits of this scholarship, we didn't talk about it. What are the benefits? How much will you be paid monthly? And the travel expenses, what are the things I should wonder about? What are the things I should feel less concerned
Okay.
about the scholarship? Yeah,
All right.
just briefly.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So this scholarship is actually fully funded. I mean, fully funded, as the word says.
Mm-hmm,
You don't have to worry about any finances. If you get to win the scholarship, be
mm-hmm,
sure that everything will be taken care of. You may just have to uh, pre-fund yourself for some things, arrive the UK, and then you are refunded every single thing, every single dime that you might have spent. But everything is funded, from your travel expenses from your home country to the UK and back to your country after the program. You will be funded. Even the Ielts, the language proficiency test, if you are selected, you will it will be paid. You may have to pay ahead of before you're refunded, but you have all of that. When you arrive in the UK, you are given a welcome allowance. That's some money for you to be able to settle in. You know, when you move into a new place, you need one or two things to be able to settle. The Hornby scholarship provides you with that. And then your fees is paid. Of course, your fees is paid. You don't have to pay anything. It's worth £22,000.
hmm,
That's a lot of money, but it is paid even before you arrive the UK. And then monthly, you receive a stipend of 1,280 something pounds for your monthly stipend to take care of your expenses and your house, your accommodation, and everything. Yeah, so it is a fully funded scholarship. You don't need to worry about anything, about
hmm,
any money. I mean, you don't need to struggle to work here to survive. You really don't
hmm,
need to, unless
hmm.
you want to. But I mean, it's enough for you to survive as a student and be comfortable.
And does it come? Can we still work as? Or how many hours can we work
Per
weekly?
week,
Hmm.
I think we have up to 20 hours. Yeah,
That's
we have
that's
up to
just
twenty
the way it
twenty
is for
hours.
other students as well.
Yes, yeah.
Hmm, hmm.
So if you want to work, if you think that you can manage your studies and you can still, do your side hustle, like we'll say it, yeah,
Mhm,
you can do
mhm.
that. You have 20 hours.
All right. So there is another question on the screen. Does this mean people younger than 26 have no chance? I think it's because somebody, Leonard mentioned the youngest person in the class. I think so. Maybe that's the
Oh
reason why.
no. There is no age limit. The
Hmm,
only thing you need to have is 3 years teaching experience. If you are 20 years and you've been teaching for 3 years, you are welcome to apply for the Hornby scholarship, please. There is no age limit. If you are 86 years and you still feel strong enough to come to Exeter and study and have this wonderful experience, have this a study in a very diverse cultural environment, you
Mhm.
can do it, please. No age limit.
So another question is: person coming from English speaking countries like Anglophone countries, do they still need IELTS?
I think IELTS is a requirement for everyone. Yes, I think I'm sure the people who no, it's a requirement. I think all the countries that fall under the Hornby scholarship are required to submit a language proficiency test. Whether you're from an Anglophone speaking country, you need to submit it.
Then another question is: must the university accept you before you apply for the scholarship?
Not really, but when you apply for the university, you have to apply to the university first, and then the university will give you a number. It is that number that you're going to use to apply for the Hornby. So you need to, first of all, apply to the University of Exeter, and then
Mhm.
you use that number to apply for the Hornby scholarship. Please do not go try to apply for the Hornby scholarship without having applied for to the University of Exeter. It doesn't work that way. But you don't need to have been offered a place, the University of Exeter, before you apply for the scholarship. No, no. That one will come later, please.
Okay, the next
So you just need
question
to
is
get your University of Exeter student number and you
mhm.
apply for the Hornby scholarship while waiting for an offer from the University of Exeter.
Thank you. If I understand, an applicant is supposed to write two SOP. How do you
Yeah.
get to differentiate them?
Excellent question. Um, Remember I said Hornby and the University of Exeter are two institutions that have partnered, but they have different objectives. And I said earlier that when you are writing a personal statement for whatever purpose, make
Mhm.
sure that you tailor it according to the goals of that program. The University of Exeter application for the MED program, its goals are different from the goals of Hornby. So you would certainly tailor the application to the University of Exeter different from that of Hornby. The Hornby Trust, they are looking for teachers who have proven, who have a track record of creating impact in their communities, for example. Teachers who are into professional development, enthusiastic teachers who are willing to bring change to their teaching communities. It is not the same thing for the University of Exeter. The University of Exeter requirements are different. You need to have had a BA in education or maybe in English language, I think, and with a certain score to be able to if you read the guidelines for the University of Exeter application, you will see all those details. Please take note of those, read them carefully before you write your statement of purpose. Very important. It is what will guide you to know what exactly you have to say, where, and when. So you cannot write one statement of purpose for the two institutions, for Hornby and for the University of Exeter. You cannot write one statement of purpose and you submit to the two. Please, you will be out of the track. They are two different uh, statements of purpose. Please take note
Thank
of
you
that.
so much. Thank you so much for the response. For this webinar, it is recorded, so you can always watch the recordings from the beginning to the end. It's a very long video, so I'm going to try as much as possible to attach some timestamp to the videos, to the description of the video, so that you can just click on where you wish to watch from in the video, and it's worth it if you watch this video from the beginning to the end if you really want to win this scholarship. Okay, let me see if there are other questions. Okay, okay, you can watch the
Leonardo
video.
is right there. Please, he can. Please, you
All
can.
right, so thank you for the webinar. Can one I think this is another question. Thank you for this webinar. Can one proceed with application without international ID cards? Had people comment on a requirement for passport details? And Leonardo, can you attend to this question? Sorry, we can't hear you. We still
Look like
can't
he's
hear you.
muted.
Not really. I think it's we still can't hear you.
Oh, maybe I'll just go ahead and answer.
Okay. Yeah, you can just go ahead. There is another question.
Okay, so the question is,
No,
can
no,
one
no.
post?
I think this question is for you because you are from the French speaking country. The question
Okay,
is, I am from a French speaking country. Should I have my document translated into English? I mean,
absolutely, absolutely. Your documents should must be in English. It's a
mm,
must. Yeah.
so how do you think the person can go about translation? Is there any recommended
We
or
we
official?
we have we have we have there are official translators in Cameroon. It's done. If she goes to maybe the Ministry of Higher Education in Cameroon, there are
Hmm,
translators there who do the professional translation. So it's not a big deal.
hmm.
Something that can be easily done. Yeah.
Okay. So where is the question, Leonardo? Are you back? Sorry, we
Oh,
still can't hear you.
we can hear you. What's wrong?
Okay, we can. Okay, I have another question here. If you don't have passport right now, when applying, can you still apply?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm 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 not sure if if a passport is a requirement.
I
I
think
can't
it's
quite remember, but
even
I'm
if
sure
it
you
is
can
even
apply
if
with
it
your
is a
ID card.
requirement, it's not a what's it called? It's not an asterisk requirement. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
compulsory requirement
Yeah,
because
so
it's meant
you
for
can apply
immigration
without
alone.
that.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
apply without passports.
yeah.
Then immediately you apply, you go on with getting your passport ready before the decision is made. Okay, I think you should attend to the question. So we call it a day. Where is
Yeah.
the question again?
Okay. Is it the one that has popped up on the screen? Can one proceed with the application without international IDs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Had people comment on a requirement for passport details and address, residence? Yeah, I think it's just related to the passport we were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
can, yes, you can go ahead and apply. It's not an obligation at this time for your application. Of course, you will only need your passport to process your documents. The scholarship actually does not have anything to do with the passport. You will need your passport to process your documents in the event of selection. um if you win the scholarship, of course, you need a passport to be able to travel out of your country. But
Yeah.
for the scholarship proper, no, the passport does not, you're not obliged to have it.
Okay. The final question before we Leonardo, can you hear me now? Or we can't still hear you. I think
Oh my.
Hear me.
uh
Oh
yeah, very
yes,
clearly now.
yes.
Oh, I'm back to earth. Okay. I was in the limbo or something. Okay.
Yeah. So, Leonardo, your last word, your advice for people, and what will be your motivation word for people who are watching us right now? So we call it a
Well,
day.
I hope that if you were before this webinar, if you were thinking about applying, I think that now your mindset is now okay. I'm going to plan for my application.
Mhm.
I hope that we could change, especially Viri talking about the scholarship, and because as she was explaining, I think she did very well. Uh, she provided a really good outline of what the scholarship is about, and
Mhm.
it is a transforming experience that goes much beyond ourselves. You know, it benefits our contexts and what our teaching class needs in back in our country. So if you, I think, and I believe that this is at the core, at the heart of education. We do what we do to potentialize others and to help them achieve uh, the maximum of their potentials. So uh, that's why we do what we do. And if you like what you do, if you like being an educator, I mean, this is something that you probably be willing to do, and it's been a blessing because even now that we are here in the UK, we've been able to to do so much for our countries, even being like here, and we can only imagine how much this can be beneficial when we return, when we finish our studies. So, but it's been amazing. So if you had that doubt in the back of your head, I hope that we helped you. Uh, we helped you come to the conclusion that yes, I need to apply for this. And so please do. And like Iviri said, like keep believing. We have opportunities like this because we believe that education can transform. Uh, so if that is if within your goals, so Hornby is a place for you, and you have a place in at Hornby as well. So have that in mind. And thanks, Lawal, for the invitation. It's an honor to be here and to share this moment with Iviri, someone that I look up to and that I admire. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm also looking up to Yviri. She's my mentor. She's my, oh my God. She has everything. She's a great ELT
Oh no.
professional. So I look forward to you. There is a last question here, which I feel we should use to round off this presentation. They say, thank you for the different answers. Please, can an applicant travel with his or her family? Yeah. Can the applicants travel with the dependents?
Yes, they
Yeah.
can. Yeah, I'm here with my wife, so it is possible. Uh, the scholarship, as you will realize once you read the requirements, and
Mhm.
the scholarship does not cover for that expense, so you need to do a little bit more planning. But yes, it is possible once you apply uh, for a student visa. You have the option of bringing a dependent alongside, so it is possible. But although this year some visa requirements have changed, so I'm not sure if that is still possible
Yeah.
for a postgraduate study program. I know for a PhD, for a research degree, for a fact it is possible. I've read it, but I'm not sure at master's level, especially a taught program. This is a taught program, even though we are involved with research. Uh, the nature of the program we take is a taught master's, so it is a 1 year program. So they may have changed uh, the the conditions for that. So I would double check, but until last year was possible, and yes, I'm here with my wife. But for this year, uh, I advise you to take a look at the UK visas new requirements, and because they've changed a few policies this year. So
Okay, thank you so much, Leonardo. Thank you so much, Iviri. So we've come to the end of this wonderful webinar, and the recording for this webinar is available on this YouTube channel. And then you can continue to ask your questions in the comment section, and subscribe to this channel as well. You can as well, Leonardo is on LinkedIn. You can connect with Leonardo on LinkedIn, connect with Yviri everywhere. Yuviri is everywhere. She's on Facebook, she's on LinkedIn, she's on Instagram, almost everywhere. So just search the name Rasifatu Yuviri and search Leonardo Lima on LinkedIn. Then you can connect with them for further inquiry about this scholarship. We wish you all the best and see you on the success ladder. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, Yuviri and Leonardo. Thank you. And I really appreciate. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Good luck to everyone.
Yeah, good luck.